But I didn't say that Ant Edwards is better than SGA because of that. I think that he's a better player because he's more explosive. I think that I love the way that he is able to do a bunch of different things on the court, whether it's shooting, whether it's driving in the lane as well. SGA can do those things too, but I just think that Ant-Man is more explosive when he does it. So I enjoy watching better. I think he's better. I think he has a higher trajectory than SGA. And we're going to see, but again, they're in two different places in their development. Ant-Man has nowhere near the development that SGA has.
That's why I can't figure out how he's the better player. I mean, LeBron more explosive than SGA too.
I don't think that anybody would have traded Ant-Man from the Clippers if they had him. So, I mean, I'm just looking at what
does that mean? What does that mean?
I just think that Ant-Man has been a better player at his age than SGA was. So at 23, I think Ant-Man was better.
Curry was about to get traded at some point too. They just decided they decided to trade Monte Ellis because Curry ankles was so bad that they didn't want him. So that point don't land like you think it land. Like, you know, they traded this dude at 19 for Paul George because Kawhi wanted Paul George there. Doc Rivers did not want to trade him. That means that LKC wanted this guy. And we talking about Sam Presti, a guy who knows talent, and said, no. If y'all want Paul George, give me that guy right there. And Doc was like, no, I don't want to do it. But Kawhi was like, I'm not coming unless Paul George comes. So it's not like they was trading him because he showed up and was not good. Kentucky don't pick players that's not good. Calipari. So we talking about Calipari, the best recruiter out of high school, picking SGA up, and him leaving after his freshman season like Devin Booker did. And then we talk about Sam Presti, the best GM in the league, wanting him in a trade. That doesn't land negative for SGA.
I don't think that Ant-Man was traded by Kawhi. I don't think he would have been able to. So
but that don't mean Ant-Man is better than SGA. SGA just won MVP. Ant-Man didn't.
He just won MVP, but he was also traded from his team, and that wouldn't have happened to Ant-Man if Kawhi wanted it.
That was 6 years ago.
It wouldn't have happened, but it wouldn't have happened to Ant-Man.
That was actually 7 years ago. So who's better now? Now who got the better upside in your opinion because of explosiveness? Who's better now? It's SGA. I mean, it's hands down.
I don't agree. I don't think his game is better than Ant-Man.
Yeah, and I'm okay with you not agreeing, but I'm just saying that the reasoning for it are not good reasons. All right, so look, SGA just got announced that he was officially the MVP of the 2025 season. He got the award yesterday. He accepted it in front of his home crowd, and then went out and blowed out Minnesota and performed very well at 38 points, man. So he was out there killing. So here's the question, though. He's already won a scoring title. He's already led the best team in the league to the best record. He's already led them to the top-rated defense. He just won league MVP. So he's got the opportunity to get the scoring title, the league MVP, the Western Conference MVP, win the finals, and get finals MVP. If he take home all those accolades and those awards coming into next season, do you think people are going to be more comfortable to say that he's the best player in the world, or is it still going to be Jokic, in your opinion?
There's still going to be a fight, but people should be comfortable saying he's the best player in the world right now.
Facts. Ain't nobody messing with shit. If he does all of that, then he leaves them no choice. You get what I'm saying? Like, what can you say to somebody who went on a run like that? He leaves them no choice, but they're still going to be detractors. They're still going to be crying and saying Jokic don't have help. But they'll bring up triple doubles as always. But yeah, Shay's that dude, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, y'all kill me with questions like this. Like this is when I get upset. This is when I get upset, right?
Good.
This man just asks, hey, listen, if somebody plays the best, shows they the best, the stats show they the best, the eye test show they the best, is they the best? No. You think people use logic? Fuck no. None of that shit don't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter.
It don't matter the people who like who they like. That shit don't matter. Of course he's the best player in the world right now.
They didn't want to give him MVP.
Hey, they didn't want to give him nothing. They was like, look, man, this is the first time I ever heard this. He only wins the scoring title because he's at the free throw line. Well, then they said, well, if you take away all his free throws and take away everybody else's free throws, he still win the scoring title. Then they was like, man, Fuck that nigga. Like that, they ain't even have nothing else to say. No, listen, man.
Canada. He's from Canada. That nigga from Canada.
Yeah. He don't even speak American English. Like, that's the same English dude.
Yeah,
but not. So it don't matter, man. It don't matter. He's on a run, and if he sustains this for 2 years, if he sustains this for just 2 years, in my mind, he already passes Giannis and that level of player. And Jokic is on that level of player too, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Are you starting from this year, or are you including last year as well? Because last year,
no, 2 more years. So right now, he's moved into that category with them.
Yeah, that's true.
He's in that category with them. 2 more years. There's no question. If he's on this hell of a run for 2 more years, whether the team wins or not, there's no question he's the best player in the NBA right now. No question.
If they don't win, I feel like they need to win. Because if they don't win,
no. All that, but what I'm saying is, but including this year and the next 2 years, all he needs is one. No one else has more than one that's in this conversation of who's the best player. So all he needs is one.
He got to get one, because then they'll always say that he fails to get to the finals, even though man, that dude's career has been amazing. I feel like I want him to win it this year, even though Ant is my guy. But Shea really has. He went to that team. I forget that Chris Paul was on that OKC team for a little while. It was, that's funny to me. Like, to watch that dude go from being traded as a lottery pick to being traded to going to a team that's super duper young, and watching him grow as a player, and then put the pieces around. Presti be dealing, but put the pieces around him to be able to do that. I want Shea to win it, and I don't want any reason. I want him to have a ring. If he didn't win MVP this year, then I probably was gonna come on here and curse some people out, do some real evil things to him, say some real mean things about their mama. So, like, because that's just ridiculous. I felt like he probably should have last year. He didn't. Whatever. I think that they'll still be detractors just because there always are, just like Jay said. At the end of the day, Jokic got a cult-like stand base too. So when they I didn't know. We found out last year.
I misspoke too, by the way. I just called that man the best player in the world. He ain't LeBron, my bad.
Boy, stop.
Check just cleared. Cha-ching. Check clear.
Now, Buddy can play, man. He can hoop, and everybody say all he is a foul merchant. Man, you're not watching basketball. That man can play.
It's poetic. And watching last night, like the way he was doing, how he was manipulating.
I don't like his braids though.
He got everything in his bag. He got everything in his bag, and it looks so like Ants had 31 last night too. So he had a much better game because he was being aggressive. It just
might be right down.
It just
I hate
looks
that too.
It just looks different.
Yeah,
I hate that too because I don't want to see them. I don't like watching them, but they playing good ball.
Yeah, Chris Dom, is SGA the best player in the league now, or will it convince you that he is if he takes on all that hardware?
He was the best player in the league last year.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's just continued. It's best player in the league continued. He's still currently from last year the best player in the league currently still. That's my take about it. I just
you probably could have said that. You probably could have used better words. I don't know. That shit was confusing.
I don't think anybody can be considered the best player in the world if you're not good at playing both sides of the game of basketball.
Yeah,
you might be the best offensive player in the world. That could be a conversation.
Or the best offensive offensive player.
You might be the best Vort player we've ever seen.
Vorping? Are we Vorping tonight?
You might be the best Vort player we've ever seen, but I can't give somebody the title of best in the world or best in the league, and you're not the best at both sides. You're not even good at one side. Like you're a traffic cone. You get taken out for key possessions on defense. So like when the people say that Luke is the best player in the world, how? He gets taken out in clutch situations because he's a cone on defense. Jokic is a cone on defense. Matador
And their
defense.
team got to go to a zone to
you got
protect how bad they are on defense.
You got to get into a zone to hide how bad you are. That doesn't make you the best in the league or the best in the world. SGA
that man made zone a three compound word. That was that zone. He knew it was off too. That man just went ahead and said, "Man,
you know what? Let me fix this."
But SGA is elite on offense, and I won't necessarily say elite on defense, but he's damn close.
Good,
he's
damn close. Good on defense. Yeah, good on defense.
I'll give him great. Elite and great are two.
John, where you got him? Where you got him ranked at right now?
You on mute,
Don? We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't think that SGA is the best player in the league, but I do think he deserves MVP. I think he was deserving of it last year too. I think that we've seen plenty of times players that are MVP, they've been the most valuable player. They're not necessarily the best player that year, even though they won the MVP. I think that
who do you think?
So I have Ant-Man ranked higher than SGA. I like his game more. What I think is that they're at two different points of development. So like in their career. So like SGA has developed further in his career. I think he's very deserving of everything, all the accolades. Anyone that says that he's the best player in the league, I have no problem with it. I have no real issue with that. I don't have him as the best player in the league. To me, there's some things that I have issue with in his offensive game that other people don't. But I mean, it's really that push off to get to the mid-range. The mid-range shot is what he basically is very largely invested into. So if the league begins to call that offensive foul that he's pushing off when he does that mid-range push off, which honestly in this playoffs, I forgot who did this very same thing and got offensive foul. I think maybe it was the Knicks who did it. It might have been the Timberwolves on them. I forget the sequence, but I'm like, oh my God, they never call this for him, but they're calling it for everybody else. And so, I think if they begin to change that he's going to have to make an adjustment in his game. So I'm curious to see what that looks like for him, but I think he's very talented. I like his effort on defense. I love the way that he's not asking his team to do anything that he's unwilling to do. So I really respect him as a leader. For me, it was his MVP speech that honestly sort of just maybe like catapulted him for me in a different way as a leader. So as a leader, I think he's incredible. As a player, I think he's done like a lot to prove himself in this league, in the NBA. I personally did not like his appearance in FIBA. I thought he played like shit. And then, but I think that he's fantastic. And honestly, I teared up a bit, even on my own show when I talked about his MVP speech. So I think he's fantastic.
To that push off though, so agreeing that he does push off is one thing. Agreeing that it's more acceptable than probably what you're saying, because you got a problem with it, because all the time, most of the time, it's just a shield and not a push off. And most of the time, it's I'm pushing a hand that's on me off. Right, that's one thing. But I do want to point this out. I was watching for that push off last night in the game, and he got to his mid range in 10 different ways without a push off. One way he got into it was just a step back. Right, one way he turned his back and got in the mid post on DiVincenzo and just did a turnaround bank shot. It's a lot of time. Other times when the contact come and he feels it with his shoulder, that's not really a push off to gain an advantage. That's part of me getting my balance on and using your body to get momentum going back for my step back jumper.
The man looks like Caitlin Clark.
He didn't extend his arm on a push off not once last night in the game. Not one time. It was all. It was all shoulder bump. It was all shoulder bump and step back.
I knew Mel was going to defend that push off only because this motherfucker do that same exact. He does that same exact push off with his midi.
Small guards.
And when you call foul on Mel, he gonna be like, "Nah, your hand was on me. Your hand was on me."
But it's not a push off. It's a technique to get me going to my step back. It's not a push off. That's why they're not calling it.
I see, and he
No,
literally. If he has to take a
no,
three-pointer, he does a push off. It literally looks like Caitlin Clark when she's pushing off girls to get to her spot that she wants. And okay, he might not do it 100% of the time. Maybe every game he's not
even
relying
50%. Not even 25%.
That's what I see, and it's either subtle or it's a strong push off. So
yeah, if it's subtle, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it being subtle. Now, if the arm, the rule,
it's like a tick.
Yeah,
you know, like, somebody has something that they always do, like LeBron James goes like this for everything. That's like when he's trying to hide on defense, or if he didn't get back on a play, they turn over the ball. He goes. It's like a nervous habit, and so I feel like
so you know when players drive to the hole and they tell you to attack the shot blocker's chest before you get into your shot. Don't just go straight up on the shot blocker because he'll block it. You go into his chest. You go into his chest first, and then you get your shot off. Right? You go into the shot blocker's chest, get your shot off. It's the same thing. It's the same thing when you get into a mid range. If someone is going to be all over my person, all over my body with their hands, then me pushing off is just as fair as them putting their hands in the cookie jar and riding me all the way to till I get to my spot. It's just me creating separation. It's not me pushing you back.
I see him doing it all the time. So I see him with this arm extending and pushing out, and it literally looks like CC0.
He literally did it 0 times last night, though, like 0.
Okay, that's what you saw. That's what you're saying you saw. That's not what I saw, and I only watched to the third quarter.
When it comes to things like that, knowing that, my team is the Atlanta Hawks, and a lot of the times Trey used to do the in and out cross, and then when he gets the defender behind him, kind of stop and make him fall on top of him. And it was started to be called a lot more frequently. And then, but other players do the same thing. Everybody pushes off. Everybody.
Trey Young had to adjust, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that SGA can't adjust his game and can't do something differently. I'm not saying he's not talented enough to do something differently. I'm just saying I'm wondering what it looks like if that should change.
If it changes.
Well, you seen it every game. He don't push off for his mid range every game. He step backs, he spins, he posts, he stop and pop. It's like literally he got to that mid range.
I'm curious.
Dozens of time last night with no push off. So there's no adjustment that need to be made. It's just, okay, if you're not on me, I'm not going to push off. I can get to that shot with no problem.
If you're not on me, I'm not going to push off. That sounds ridiculous. If you're not on me.
Well, I might have didn't say it right, but the point is you're trying to make it seem like that the push off is the bread and butter of his game. And if they start calling it, he has to adjust his game. He don't have to adjust it.
No, I said what I said, which is that in his mid range, he's pushing off. So his mid range, I'm curious to see. And his mid range is the bread and butter of his game, but I'm curious to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, but the push off is not, though.
How he tries to, the push off for his mid range shot is predicated.
Yeah, but how did you miss all the shots he took from the mid range last night with no push off?
I also saw him take shots from the 3-point line. So every game is not going to look the same. If you have to push every time to a certain team or a certain player, that's for the Timberwolves.
With no push off. We're gonna watch film together.
I would love to do that.
We'll go watch film together.
Look, we
and then we can, because we both still in Cali, and then I can take you to the gym and I'll show you how to get to that spot and rise up, and I'll show you it's not a push off.
The game through a different lens, and that's okay.
Mel gonna push off. Understand that. Know that.
Small guards.
No Mel pushing off.
To do that.
Skilled guards that know how to use the mid range.
Small guards that don't have the athleticism, that are not bigger than their defender. It's something. Look, I have a problem with it, and I said the very first thing I said is that most people don't, and I'm okay with it.
Right.
6 though. He really wouldn't be considered a small guard.
So the dude Ant Edwards, the one that shoots 10 to 15 threes a game, who getting his lunch absolutely ate by SGA, even when he guard him. I mean, he got his spot on on Edwards with no problem getting to the Baja. As a matter of fact, the head-to-head battles with Ant Edwards and SGA has all been won by SGA as far as what they bring to the table for their team. It's been going back and forth. But SGA is older. Like Edwards is only 23.
And that's to speak to what Dominique's point was. I do agree with her saying that they are different points of their development.
That's
and
true.
22, 23 years old. And we know we know how Ant is. It's a lot of maturity that he still has, a lot of maturing he still has to do. SGA is a mature. Yeah, I don't, that might be an understatement. But SGA's, like, I don't agree with a lot of the comments that of people saying SGA's game is boring. It is not. It is very entertaining.
It's beautiful.
I don't know. It's poetry, like Chris said. It has a poetic flow to it. He is always comfortable anywhere inside that 3-point line to do anything. And last night kind of showed it. So I just don't. I do think they're at different points of their development. I do think Shea is the better player at this point. I don't know what Ants. I know Ants has a ton of potential, but I don't know what his ceiling is. It all depends on tendencies and gameplay and how he develops his skill set. But of course, he got the athleticism, and we think he got. I know he got the dog. It's just a matter to see over the next couple of years what his game develops to.
He got to change course because when he went to the Olympics and started shooting threes and working with KD and said he fell in love with the three, and he made an assertive effort to say I'm going to shoot more threes this season, and he did, and he made more threes than anybody in the league. For someone of his athletic type and his build and his leaping ability and his strength, he should not be letting people off the hook by shooting 10 threes a game. KD don't even shoot that many threes.
You are doing me a favor if you as uber athletic as he is and you shooting a jumper.
Right. And that's why Michael Jordan didn't shoot a lot. That's why Wade didn't shoot a lot. So Ant Edwards have to change course if he's going to reach the potential that SGA has reached, and if he's going to bypass SGA, because they both in the West and they go see each other a lot. If he wants to get to that level, he's got to change course and rethink how he wants to attack defenses, and the 3-point line is not gonna be it.
Yeah, it's not. And we saw the difference. Even though he still was 1 for 7 last night, he shouldn't have shot 7 threes. SGA might have took 2, and he's half of the athlete that Ant-Man is. Like, you have to continue. When Ant went to the cup, he was able to score some points. He was able to get fouled, even though early on he was kind of inefficient, but eventually it started to work because he was scoring, and that's what his team needed, especially with Julius Randle being a complete opposite of what he was in game 1. They definitely needed him to score, but I was glad to see him being more aggressive. I was glad to see him working away somewhat of the 3-point shot. I was glad to see he took more than 13 damn shots too, because they're not going to win any game that he's doing that. But yeah, man, he just has to. I do agree he has to change course. I think he has to refine that mid-post game. Like Shea, that turnaround jump shot off the glass last night, I was like, man, I don't know how many people. I don't know that skill work. You could tell he's been in the gym and he shot that shot before a bunch of times, and I just love seeing that. His game ain't boring. Skill.
His favorite player is Kobe, so he's studying Kobe.
I think my biggest
go ahead, Dominique.
Don't look the same when you go to FIBA. That's where I have a problem. So I don't. That's what I don't like. It's not just the push off. It's the performance in FIBA when you can't do the push off in FIBA, but you can do it in the NBA, and you don't look the same. So that's what I'm connecting to, that push off in the mid range when he couldn't do that.
You trying to connect anything to that push off because the push off don't really be there. Right, so you trying to connect now you talking about FIBA. Jamal Murray, look, who looked the same in FIBA? Jason Tatum didn't look the same.
I don't congratulate.
Hold on, Anthony Edwards didn't look the same. Did Anthony Edwards look the same in FIBA? He looked like trash. Bam looked like trash. Steph Curry looked like trash in FIBA into the last 2 games. The only two people who looked good in FIBA, the only 3 people that looked good in FIBA was Jokic, LeBron, and Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry the last 2 games.
And so KD looks great.
They looked playing alongside LeBron James, which is something different from how they looked playing in FIBA.
It's FIBA. You said FIBA. They all didn't look good in FIBA.
So you're talking about Jamal Murray, and we're talking about
you can't say Edwards is better than SGA because of a push off. I mean, you just can't say that. They don't have. I mean, they don't make sense, Dominique.
But I didn't say that. I didn't say he was better than SGA because of a push off.
Who the hell is SGA?
I just said why I didn't like SGA's offensive game as much as everybody else does. but I didn't say that Ant Edwards is better than SGA because of that. I think that he's a better player because he's more explosive. I think that I love the way that he is able to do a bunch of different things on the court, whether it's shooting, whether it's driving in the lane as well. SGA can do those things too, but I just think that Ant-Man is more explosive when he does it. So I enjoy watching better. I think he's better. I think he has a higher trajectory than SGA. And we're going to see, but again, they're in two different places in their development. Ant-Man has nowhere near the development that SGA has.
That's why I can't figure out how he's the better player. I mean, LeBron more explosive than SGA too.
I don't think that anybody would have traded Ant-Man from the Clippers if they had him. So, I mean, I'm just looking at what
does that mean? What does that mean?
I just think that Ant-Man has been a better player at his age than SGA was. So at 23, I think Ant-Man was better.
Curry was about to get traded at some point too. They just decided they decided to trade Monte Ellis because Curry ankles was so bad that they didn't want him. So I mean that point don't land like you think it land. Like, you know, they traded this dude at 19 for Paul George because Kawhi wanted Paul George there. Doc Rivers did not want to trade him. That means that OKC wanted this guy. And we talking about Sam Presti, a guy who knows talent, and said, no. If y'all want Paul George, give me that guy right there. And Doc was like, no, I don't want to do it. But Kawhi was like, I'm not coming unless Paul George comes. Yeah. So it's not like they was trading him because he showed up and was not good. Kentucky don't pick players that's not good. Calipari. So we talking about Calipari, the best recruiter out of high school, picking SGA up and him leaving after his freshman season, like Devin Booker did. And then we talk about Sam Presti, the best GM in the league, wanting him in a trade. That doesn't land negative for SGA.
I'm sorry, I don't think that Ant-Man was traded by Kawhi. I don't think he would have been able to. So
but that don't mean Ant-Man is better than SGA. SGA just won MVP. Ant-Man didn't.
He just won MVP, but he was also traded from his team, and that wouldn't have happened to Ant-Man if Kawhi wanted it.
That was 6 years ago.
Wouldn't have happened, but it wouldn't have happened to
That
Ant-Man.
was actually 7 years ago. So who's better now? Now who got the better upside in your opinion because of explosiveness? Who's better now? It's SGA. I mean, it's hands down.
I don't agree. I don't think his game is better than Ant-Man.
Yeah, and I'm okay with you not agreeing, but I'm just saying that the reasoning for it are not good reasons.
To you,
well, I mean, there's
explosiveness matters. I do.
There's a ruler that's actually live right now that has SGA up 2-0 over who you think is the best player in the league.
But it's not SGA.
And he's eating his lunch too.
It is SGA.
It's SGA. He's the only person on OKC. He's
only leading. He's leading that team.
He's the only person.
You're the person that you said was the best player in the league took 13 shots in game 1 of the Western Conference Finals.
He's the best player in the league. I think he's going to be the face of the league.
Ghana is different though.
That's two different things. That's two different things.
He's the face of the league now, and he should have been MVP last season. He's MVP this season, and he still won't be the face of the league this season, last season, tomorrow, or next season.
The face of the league and the best in the league are two different things.
Really? Are they?
Yes.
Okay.
LeBron was the face of the league. Hasn't been the best in the league in a long time.
That's because you think that Kevin Durant is better, but the masses didn't think that.
Did anybody hear me say Kevin Durant?
We don't have to hear you say it. We know you would say it. You have said it.
On the years that he was the best in the league.
You've said that Kevin Durant is better than LeBron, right?
Hey, if we go make it to the New York game, we got to move up. But yeah, I mean, it's a good conversation, Don, man. But we just see it a little different. That's fine. That's cool.